Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to walk you through how to clean and lubricate your Ruger Security 9 pistol. Hopefully it'll be a little bit better than just reading a boring owner's manual, and we're going to treat it as if this is your first pistol and you don't know anything about maintaining a gun. So we'll walk you through it step by step, and without any more yapping, let's get into it. Before getting into the actual cleaning, I'm going to go over what we're using here today. So we have this pick here. It's a tipped-in polymer pick. They come in a set of 4. They're relatively inexpensive. The beauty of these is they won't scratch your finish because they're polymer, and your finish, of course, is metal, blued metal in this case. We have a toothbrush here, nothing too fancy, basic toothbrush, a rod for the barrel to push patches through it, and we have 2 bottles here of break-free CLP. It's just repurposed bottles. We'll put links to all this stuff down below in the video description, and we'll get into it. First, we want to make sure our pistol is unloaded, so we're going to drop our magazine that we have here. I'm actually going to save one of those rounds to show you what we're going to do here in a second with it, but we're going to press up on this slide lock, slide release lever, and that is going to lock the slide to the rear. You guys can see there is no round in the chamber, and of course nothing there in your magazine well. So what we need to do in order to strip the pistol is basically you need to take pressure off of your takedown pin here. So if you put your thumb in there and just take the pressure off it there. You can use a screwdriver if you want. However, the rim of a case works well just to kind of hook on it, and that is the pin we're going to take out. At this point, your slide will come off, and you can pull up here on your guide rod, pull that out, and pull up and back there on the barrel, rather, if I could actually get it out, and your pistol is stripped for cleaning. The first thing I like to do is put some CLP on a patch, and we'll run that through the barrel here. So for those that don't know, CLP stands for cleaning, lubricant, and protected, and it does all those things well, which is good. Some folks like specialty lubricants and specialty cleaners, that's fine, but generally speaking, they're not required, and CLP is proven for sure. So we're going to run a patch through the barrel, and what that's going to do is break down all the carbon that's in there now, and it'll keep doing that while we're going along here on the rest of the other parts. We're just going to spray a little bit of CLP on there, work it around here with our toothbrush, making sure that we get anywhere where the carbon would be, especially down here on the feed ramp and on the locking lugs. Moving on to the slide, there's not a whole lot going on in this particular pistol slide, which is a good thing. Simplicity is good. We're just going to do the exact same thing, just kind of work all that CLP around, loosening up the carbon. There's a few spots we really want to pay special attention to here. Number 1 is going to be the breech face there, and then on the extractor, for those that don't know, the extractor is that little piece right there. That's what's pulling your bullet case, or rather pulling on the case of the round when it fires and pulling it out of the firearm. So you definitely want that to be good, so you'll have good reliable ejection. Same thing is true here on our frame. We're just going to spray the CLP like we talked about and work it all around, loosening up the carbon. Of course, the high wear areas are on the actual frame rails here on the frame. Now we're going to start cleaning that stuff up. So we're going to take a fresh patch and just kind of work it all throughout the open crevices there. Again, we want to pay special attention to the rails and the extractor. You guys can see there, they're pretty dirty. So try to get everything you can. People always ask in every cleaning video I do, how clean do you have to get it? There's really no answer. Some folks want to get it until their patches and t-shirt pieces are perfectly spotless every time, and that's fine. I personally just kind of like to get the majority of it out of there, and what we're going to do there on the extractor is work down there in those picks, making sure we get all of it. The frame's pretty similar. We're going to do basically the same thing. The one thing I want to point out on the frame, well, 2 things I suppose, is that you really don't want any lubrication in your magazine well. It's simply not needed. It's not going to help with anything. And anywhere that you can't get to with the actual tipped-in picks, try not to just jam them in there and put the picks where they don't belong. This pistol is meant to go thousands of rounds without being detail stripped, so you don't need to get down in there. Just a field strip like we did here today is fine. And just get everything you can, and the stuff you can't, definitely wouldn't worry about it for now. After about 5,000 rounds, maybe I guess we can start worrying about it, who knows. But yeah, we definitely want to get in those rails for sure and get all that CLP out of the mag well, at least that we can. Now we're going to get into the barrel. Again, I want to run a patch through it. They do make specific 9mm patches, guys, if you guys want to order those, but again, cut up t-shirts work just fine. Just make sure you don't cut them too big, because they have a tendency to want to get stuck. So that's suboptimal if you do that. We want to wipe off all of the CLP again on the outside that we can see, and make sure we get in the locking lugs here. and then the feed ramp again, where it's feeding those bullets into. And I almost forgot, I like to just brush down the guide rod and spring. Number one, it's going to get some of the carbon that's on there off. It's also going to get some CLP on there, which is a good thing, as always. And next, we're going to reassemble it and lubricate it. As a general rule of thumb, anywhere that you see actual wear marks happening there on the finish, you want to put some lubrication on. So with that regard, again, we're going to use just a drop of CLP down there in the side. You guys can see it is already starting to show some wear. And on the barrel, you guys see the same thing, wear-wise. You see the rings all the way around, so I like to just spread it around with my finger. Of course, when you fire it, it's also going to spread the CLP around as well. And we're going to get a drop down there in the locking lugs. And we're just going to put our barrel back in. At this point, we're going to put our guide rod and spring back in. Throw a drop on there. I'm not sure if it's entirely necessary. It certainly isn't going to hurt anything. We're going to want to put the small end here forward and just press down a little bit there so it interfaces with the locking lug. Now at this point, for the frame, there's two ways you can lubricate it. You can either put the lubrication here on the slide rails that are on the frame, or you can put it down into the actual handgun slide as well, the crevices that it goes in. I also noticed this little piece here is getting a little bit of wear, so we're going to put some CLP on there, and I'm going to put a little bit of CLP there on the rails, and that's pretty much it. We're going to put our slide back on, and once again you want to push back a little bit there on the slide, and the beauty of CLP is it's everywhere, so it's a little bit there on there, a little bit of my fingers rather that we just got on there will help it stay lubricated. And at this point, we're just going to do a basic functions check. Actually, I'm going to wipe it down first. Now we're going to do the functions check. We want to cycle the action, point in a safe direction, press the trigger to the rear, hold it, cycle the action again, make sure it resets. And once it resets, we're good to go. So at this point, you're ready to put it back in a holster, load it up for carry, or put it in your safe, whatever the case may be. If you guys have any questions about what we did here today, by all means, post down below in the comments section. You can always post over at my Facebook page as well. That's generally speaking the best way to get in touch with me, because I see those comments over there more than on other social media platforms. But I appreciate you watching. If you're not subscribed and you like what you saw here, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see all of you in the next video.
You